Okay, so we spent the day being back, remember Lake Tankred, after we vanquished the creature. Now, what I had forgotten to mention previously is that Konrad, when he was enveloped by the creature, when he was being bitten, he did suffer critical of some broken ribs. And so that's been a little more noticeable on the journey back. He didn't really feel it, apparently, with the adrenaline of cutting out of the stomach. But you do have a trophy. You have one of the creature's tongue you fashioned into a trophy that you are wearing, which gives you a bonus +1 to reputation when we're dealing with people as a monster hunter. So whether that's creatures or just people familiar with monster hunters, you get a +2 reputation bonus, whereas Konrad right now has 1 because we both vanquished the creature. So our reputation has grown by slaying the creature and saving the village. Okay. We are also honorary members of the village if we ever need to return. Little Hildy, consider you an ally, just as her father Henrik is grateful to Konrad and he considers to have sort of a life as thanks. Now, I do believe you also mentioned that you were going to let the mayor of the village know what had happened before we left. Yeah. And it did turn out that he had known. He just didn't feel he wanted to orphan little Hildy at that point. No, he was aware of the crime and he didn't want to make the situation worse, especially since they were the only ones left in the village. But he has assured you that he will watch over Henrik and make sure he leads an honorable life. And as thanks for not killing him, to simply end the curse, and as gratitude for Konrad trying to shield him and then getting swallowed by the creature, that's why we're honorary members of the village. But we spent another day going back, so our journey was pretty quick. We spent one day going out there, that's when we were attacked by the wolves. And then the next day we actually vanquished the creature, so we spent another day coming back at that point. We came back with some of the villagers. The little boy that was here sampling the sweets, he's now gone. He's gone back with the villagers, and they have brought the ice. So we've just been spending time now recuperating. So one of the things that you have noticed, and you'll be able to choose where you are in the Highwatch facility right now, is you have noticed that Konrad has been spending the better part of the day with Lise and Adelaide in her quarters, so you have not seen him for some time. Okay. He has assured that she will take care of his wounds. So you have free rein to basically pick a location and see what you want to do.
I believe, yeah, in the basement, that's the woman that was shocked that I knew, what was it, chemistry?
Yes, that you had such a high level of skill in alchemy. You have 14.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
you have 14 base.
Alchemy, yeah.
So yeah. So you add a +14 before you even roll anything.
Alright, so I'll go down to the basement. Show her my tongue.
Okay.
The monster tongue.
Nice, nice. Do you have human perception?
Let's see. Is that in intelligence?
Empathy.
Empathy. I do. I have a 1. And then
okay.
plus 3 at the bottom.
Okay, so you'd add 4. Go and make a D10 roll.
8.
Okay. So it doesn't take much. I'm gonna give you this one because it doesn't take much. She is genuinely interested in the trophy, but you're getting the feeling that she's also a little interested in Otto as well.
Oh, okay.
So she's a little enamored.
Oh.
She's you're getting that she feels your kindred spirit vibe. There could be something more than that.
But, okay.
That's about what you're getting at.
Okay.
That said, we do have roughly 5 days before the party. So your first day, since we can boost skills as part of the game mechanic, what I presumed is you would want to boost your swordsmanship to 7 from 6. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would spend the day doing that, and also that would have been your human perception, as you leveled up 1 with her
Okay.
in the alchemy lab. And if I recall, you said you might have been interested in giving her some of the animal parts. Do you still want to give her those animal parts?
Yeah.
Okay. So you give her, I believe it was the warg paw. So that she can make a trophy if she wants as well. And she's grateful. Clarice de Claudine. So she's just going about her experiment. She does say you're welcome to join her. You know, they do kind of trust us a little more now, so they're giving her free reign. Do you want to ask her any questions since you have this opportunity? And then that'll be like day one, basically.
Does she know about what went on in the village?
She says no. She was actually hoping that you would explain to her. She's heard kind of rumors as the villagers are bringing the ice.
Okay, I'll enlighten her.
Okay. So you do explain the creature. Well, and technically you did show her the trophy of the tongue that you had fashioned. So. Okay, and she's like, fascinating. It's a shame that there weren't any mutagens for the creature. It sounds like it was more of a curse-based creature that arose, rather than a mutation. So that would be day one. You also have the Gwent deck. So if you do, I will give you the option. If not, you can choose another skill instead to take to 2. But it would take you about 3 days to level up your Gwent tactics ability if you wanted to. To get it to level 2 would take 3 days in particular.
Okay. Yeah, maybe play that.
Okay, so do you want to just stick in the basement and just stay in the basement? Do you want to just hang out in the lobby?
I'm gonna ask Clarice if she wants to go to up top and play a game of Gwent. Like up to the first floor.
Go ahead and make a empathy, and then do you have charisma, charm, anything? No? I could just make a
Just
straight
plus 3 then.
Yeah, and just D10.
10.
Okay, yeah, she says, sure. She says your guess is as good as hers as far as how to play the game, because she's never played, but she says she's willing to learn.
Okay.
So let's just put you at the table, and she's kind of watching from afar, like kind of snickering to herself. So you spend a couple of days. Go and make another. Just roll a D10. Just so you know.
1.
Okay. Yeah. So not only is she snickering, she just shakes her head and she walks away. And she's like, God. You can hear because you do have keen hearing. So this time, go ahead and make a luck roll.
Okay. So that shows 5 and a.
Yeah. So just roll a D10.
Oh,
and then
straight
add
5.
Yeah.
Okay. 11.
Okay. So with your keen sort of senses as a witcher, you do overhear her as she's walking away, because you get a bonus to awareness as well. So actually, yeah, instead, making a, what did you roll?
I rolled a 6.
Okay,
I have 4 awareness.
Let's make it awareness instead.
So
4,
10.
so 10. But then you add
Oh,
your
plus 7,
intelligence.
so 17.
So you got a 17. So your keen awareness hears her kind of scoffing, and you hear her saying, "Oh, that child's helpless," and she just walks away, just shaking her head at how enamored Clarice is coming off her. Okay, so meanwhile, since you rolled so high, you may have also picked up, as embarrassing as it is, maybe some loud noises coming from the second floor, since you are by the stairwell as well, going upstairs. Some intimate noises, shall we say.
Oh.
Yeah. From Luis Van Adelaide and Konrad upstairs. So there's a little more than some healing going on right there. Healing hands is the skill that she is using, by the way, as a mage.
Is that what they call it?
So anyway, we fast forward a few days. So Konrad also learned some skills. So he spent a day training dodge, and he spent another one doing some social etiquette, and on the third day he also popped down and he played some Gwent with you guys as well, and he leveled up Gwent tactics to 1. So his dodge is now 4, His tactics for Gwent is 1. So he joined like the last day that you two were playing.
Okay.
Go ahead and make another alert check, just
Okay.
as we're going.
10. And then you
so
said alert.
that's-
Is that awareness?
Yeah, so that's +7, so that's
so
21.
another 11, 21,
so,
yeah.
so at one of the days too, you're scouting the area, and you may have caught Luis van Adelaide kind of pushing Konrad out here in an embarrassing fashion. With like he's holding his armor, but he's not quite clothed. It's just like morning. It just kind of goes sort of getting fashioned. And then he just says, yeah, and then he comes back a few minutes later and he's got his armor donned a little better. And you notice that he's got some fancy clothes that she gave him as well. So he's taken one of the days to level up social etiquettes to 1 as well, to learn how to mingle with in anticipation of the party. He also spent a couple of days learning to parry arrows and meditate, so to hone his senses while he's meditating. So since we're witchers and you have meditation level 0, so you can meditate instead of sleeping. You can meditate for the same effect as sleep. But the higher the number goes, it's like for every 3 meters or so you can sense something. Sort of like radar almost.
Okay.
So if you're meditating because you have 0, you can meditate instead of like a full sleep. You can meditate for a period of time so that you're not sleeping and but you don't have this sense around you until you start leveling it a little higher. Konrad got 1 point, so he can sense everything within a square. So if like let's say somebody's walking and is meditating and they intrude into that square, he'll sense them right away and he'll awaken. So he says, yeah, she kicked me out. She's using her mage scope to talk to somebody that she said her name was Triss Marigold. But she did not want me in there for the conversation, so she kicked me out. And he's just feeling a little awkward.
Do we know who that is?
He says he's heard of her. The only reason he's familiar is that he knows that she's traveled with Daryl to Rivia and they've had a relationship in the past.
Oh, okay.
So he knows of her. Just like, that's something I was going to tell you. And you would be familiar, you'd recognize that name because one of your valued mentors is actually Letho, Gullet, who was from Witcher 2, if you recall. Well, in this universe, he was spared by Geralt at the end, allowed to continue on the path. So you have occasionally helped him out, and if ever there's a situation, you would want to help him as well.
Okay.
Because he's one of the most valued people to Otto. So a few more days pass. This would be last chance to do anything else. I believe most of your skills have been covered as far as what we've been doing over the last 5 days up to the party. So now it is officially party time. So Konrad is Luis van Adelaide's +1. You are Clarissa's +1. Katrine Priest does not have a +1 because she doesn't seem to like either of us. And we start seeing some of the guests pulling up. And so now there are lots of esteemed mages that are just arriving. And everybody's mingling. So if there's anybody that you would like to try and talk to, you can. Go and make an alertness check as well.
That's awareness?
Yes.
Or
sorry, awareness, yeah.
12.
Okay. Total?
Yeah.
Did you roll a 1?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you don't notice that. Let's see, you got a 5 plus. But Konrad does. So Konrad is besides Luis van Adelaide, and everybody's mingling. And then Konrad just gets kind of quiet as 2 people walk in. You do notice her arrival, though, and you recognize her because you and Konrad have history, and you both helped her father. Katrina Stein of Kovir.
Okay.
And you know her to be a very proud, very affluent noble, but she also has a streak for arrogance that can sometimes get her into trouble. And you've heard rumors and rumblings that she's been keeping a secret profession. So, wondering what she's doing here.
Is she the one with the staff?
She is not.
Oh,
So
okay.
she is the one in the red dress
Okay.
with the yellow. She is accompanied by a young woman who is standing next to her. And so Luis is going to just kind of hop over here with Konrad. And if you would like to join, you can as well. I'm going to put all the guests over here. If not, you may still overhear them.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Clarice who it is and like just real quick and then walk over.
Okay. And then you also notice that Katrine has all of a sudden been like, oh my goodness. She's walking over, but she's walking toward Lady Katrina Stein. And so, Luis Van Adelaide says, oh, why hello, it's Madame Stein. How wonderful to meet you. And then she says, Conrad's told me so much. And there's this awkward look between Madame Stein and Konrad. And you are aware that they have had an on-again, off-again, on-again relationship for years. Because that's how you guys kind of met. You don't need to make a roll. You understand the implication that she's making, and you find it kind of odd that because you and Konrad are both very secretive people, that she seems to know all these secrets. Not only know these secrets about Konrad, but how to make a comment like that that is very deliberate and biting toward Katrina. How would you like to react to that? Or do you want to just wait to see what she does?
I'll stay quiet right now and just listen.
Luis Van Adelaide, of course, puts her arm around Konrad's, in formal fashion as they're moving closer to close the distance, which you can tell that's also annoying Madame Stein. She's putting on her best poker face here. She's like, ah yes, Luis Van Adelaide, it's so wonderful to meet you. I've heard so much about your aspirations. I hope you can accomplish them. And you can tell that there's a bit of sass with that comment as well. So these two women are having an argument. And Konrad's just quiet. And here comes Katrine, and she's like, why, of course, Madame Stein, how lovely to make your acquaintance. So she kind of moves between them. She's running interference at their party. And she's like, we've heard so much about your ward here. And so they look to the woman who's the miniature with the staff there. And they say, we would be honored. And she looks over at Luis Van Adelaide and she says, wouldn't we, to train, and she looks back, to help facilitate some of the training of your ward, Lana Branson of Sintra. And so Luis, of course, looks back and says, yes, of course, yes. But there'll be time for, don't you see, we do have to mingle with some of the other guests, so please, feel free to, I'm sure you've traveled far. Feel free to relax and get reacquainted with Konrad. I'm sure you would like to, as soon as possible. And then she just kind of walks away. And now they're mingling, and they're mingling. Clarissa kind of looks at you and says, okay, I'm gonna... That's so all three of them go to mingle with the sorcerers and sorceresses.
Okay.
Leaving us these two. And Lana just, she's a young teenage girl. She makes a comment about, it's so charming. Like, you've been here, 5 minutes, Konrad? And already? Then we have Katrina says, oh yeah, we'll talk about this later. She says, while I would have preferred you secure her tutelage a different way, it will help us to further the goals of her training. But you can tell she's a little upset. Is there anyone that you want to, by any chance, kind of talk to? Do you want to interact with any of them?
Let's see.
Do you want to make a comment about what's been happening so far?
No, she can find out another way if she wants to, but is there anything I know about? These are all new people to me, I guess. These 3 other mages.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Okay. 6 plus awareness and intelligence, or?
Yeah.
Alright. So, 17. Total.
Okay, you're not quite familiar with most of them, but there is one that you have heard of, Stregobor of Kovir. The only reason you know that is because he's a pretty well-known sorcerer for having run into Geralt of Rivia, and there's some sort of horror stories that had happened regarding the Butcher of Blaviken. And you recall a story about Geralt Blaviken in particular was hired by this sorcerer to kill someone by the name of Renfried, who was supposed to be sort of a cursed former, almost like a princess, according to him, born under a cursed moon that would have risen great evil and destruction if she had been allowed to live. And so Stregobor helped execute many of these royal children who had been born under those mysterious circumstances. And Renfried was the last one.
Oh, okay.
But beyond that, you don't know too much about him other than he's a very questionable individual. He tends to have secretive agendas. He tends to manipulate people, basically. But he is a famous person in Kovir.
Okay. Well, is he this one?
He's the far one, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go talk to someone else other than him. How about the whip woman?
Okay. So that is actually Marigold.
Oh, okay.
So she says, "My goodness, I didn't expect to find 2 witchers. I had to come over here because I had heard about this new potential enclave trying to be established." She's kind of trusting of you a little bit, but she's had history with witchers. So what would you like to ask or anything? I'm gonna make a quick roll in secret.
I mean, she's like right in a group with everybody else, right? So whatever I say, they'll hear.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe, like, it's good to meet so many mages at once, because most of the time they're not all in one group like this. It's interesting to see you all together.
Okay. Yeah, and she says, well, we're not all that trustworthy. She's being sarcastic, though. She was like, we're not all the same here. So
Yeah.
just keep your guard up. If I can give you one, she's kind of like lowering her voice in secret. She's like, if I give you one piece of advice, just keep your head low and be careful. And that fast forwards us to Louise Van Adelaide looking at everyone around the crowd, and she's like, she's in front of the doors, and she's like, I have an announcement. So I've arranged some entertainments, if Konrad would be so obliged. If you and your counterpart, Otto, would like to join outside, we've arranged a bit of a surprise for you. She says, for a bit of sport, we've arranged a bit of a show outside for you, and if you can defeat the creature, you can keep whatever gains you get from it.
Okay.
So Konrad is, of course, Katrina and Lana are looking at him like a little nervous. And Conrad's looking back at her like he doesn't quite know what she's talking about, but he's gonna follow suit because he has promised that he would help out in exchange with some of the things that she's been asking for.
Okay.
So she was like, "Dear Witchers, if you head out to the outside, please, and the rest of you, if you will join us on the balcony upstairs for the show."
I'm just gonna like stay quiet and kind of not express any emotion if I can.
Okay. So we're gonna go outside, and it is kind of dark, so it'll be dark outside. They are all up here, kind of watching the show. It's gonna be a little hard to fit everybody here. I'm gonna try.
It's bigger than it looks.
Yeah. So they can see us from over here, and as we step outside, there is a cart with some chains, and the chains, they reach out and they open, and then out pops a giant elemental that's bigger than we are.
Neat.
So go ahead and roll reflex.
2 plus 10, so 12.
So now we'll roll for creature. Oh goodness. Okay, so the creature is going to go last, luckily. The creature does walk out, and there's this giant ice elemental that does not look happy to see us. So Conrad's gonna go first, you will go second, and I will go last.
Okay.
So since we did have warning that we were going out to fight something, we do have our weapons drawn, so you'll be able to choose whichever weapon you like.
Okay.
She did specify monster as well, so you can have your silver sword out, or you can have your 2 viper things, your choice.
I'll have silver probably.
Okay. So, Konrad charges with his silver sword, and ooh, he gets a pretty good roll. So it's 10 plus 16. So he rolls a 26. Oh, he might crit this thing. And Konrad is also doing his strong attack without penalty, because he does get that good ability where he does not have to deal with penalty. Alright, so Konrad runs over, so he does not quite crit, unfortunately, because that creature rolled a 9 to its dodge, so it's a 23.
Okay.
Konrad rolled 26, so he does hit, which means he gets to roll some damage. 5d6 plus 4, doubled. Oh, and actually I've got to check the location too. So it's going to be torso, I believe. So that's just straight damage.
Okay.
Okay, so 17, 27, ooh, 33, 35 plus 4, so 39 damage, so he deals...
So 5d6.
Yeah, but then, so his armor resistance, so then it goes to 19, but then it doubles, so Konrad deals 38. He runs over to the ice elemental and he hits it for 38 points of damage.
Okay.
It's still alive, though. Now it is your turn.
Alright. I want to do Igni.
Okay.
It says 26 per STA point.
Yeah, so that's stamina, so...
It says there's 35, so how does that work?
So you just spend them like magic points. So you can spend right now up to 2 at a time.
So I can roll 2d6?
Yes.
Okay.
And then since it is, so it's like an attack though, so your Igni would, so flip it. And what is your casting? Or on the first page.
Oh.
What is your spell casting?
Is that in?
It's in your will.
Oh, okay. 2.
Okay, so you get a +9 to your will.
Oh, okay. Okay. So D10 first?
Yes.
6 plus 9.
So you got 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then 2d6.
Okay, so it's gonna
Oh.
try to reposition in response, but because it had already tried to dodge once, it takes a penalty, and because it's taking a penalty, you are going to hit it. Actually.
Sweet. Okay.
And it is susceptible to
30.
fire, so you will then double the
5.
damage.
Okay. So I rolled 8. I don't think I get a bonus. Yeah, I rolled an 8. Then it says 50% chance to set anything on fire. So do I roll?
Yes.
So that was 8 damage. Is there a bonus to that?
No.
Or is it just straight? Okay.
That was a straight.
Okay. I rolled 50.
Okay. And then don't forget, you gotta roll the D10 to determine
for
if
the
it
spot?
was. Yeah.
4.
Okay. Well, no, Igni goes to straight. It's just
Oh.
You rolled a 54, so
Okay.
it is not on fire then, because it's just slightly higher.
Oh, okay.
But how much did you do, damage-wise?
8.
8 damage? Okay, so you're going to deal 16 to it.
Okay.
Now it is the creature's turn. It is going to try and hit Konrad.
It says 1 to 7 STA.
That's just how many you can spend, but you're limited to what your vigor is, which is 2. So if you
Okay.
boost it up to 7, you can spend up to 7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Konrad is going to dodge. And how much bonus does this thing have to attack? See, oh my goodness. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Okay, so Konrad is just barely gonna get hit. Well, that sucks. That's a lot of damage. 25, 27, 37. Okay, so it's gonna smack Konrad for 44 points of damage minus his armor, which is 14, so he's gonna take 30 points of damage.
Jeez.
And that is going to hurt. He's gonna be like whacked into the wall here, and these reflective urns. And you can hear everybody cheering of like, yeah! Some of them, at least. Like, they were like, wow, Konrad, you know. But yeah, he gets whacked up, he hits like this, there's this protective barrier, and then he falls back to the ground. And he's like, oh, that hurt. And that is the creature's turn. So now it's Konrad's turn. Konrad is going to pop his swallow potion.
Okay.
So he's going to start healing per round. But he's going to, other than that, he's going to go a little defensive here. Because he just took 31. It's like when that creature like
Swallowed it all.
that is your turn now.
Okay. I'll just do Igni again.
Okay. You might deal more damage just direct attacking it.
Oh yeah.
Versus
Even though it takes double.
Well, because you have your sword, your silver
Oh okay.
is going to deal a lot more damage probably than Igni.
Oh okay.
I mean, you could try risking setting it on fire.
I'll do Igni one more time. Try to get it.
Okay.
All right.
So just keep in mind that's also burning stamina points too. So every time you're casting it, that's 2 stamina.
Oh,
You
okay.
have like 30 something.
Okay.
Just to keep in mind.
All right. So It's D6 first, right? Oh no. Can't remember. Is it D10 and then I add... Oh, it's in the will, right? Spellcasting, so plus 9.
Yeah.
So 3, so 12. That's pretty low.
Okay.
Okay. And then 5, 10, so 10 damage. And then roll percent. Oh, 73.
Okay, so not on fire, but you dealt.
So 20.
So you can deal 10 more damage to it. Okay. So we've dealt almost 50 damage to it so far. The creature is going to try and take a swing at you because
Okay.
you are closest. So go ahead and you can try to dodge. You can block, your choice.
Yeah, I'll try to dodge.
Okay, so you rolled 8. And what's your skill? Be reflex plus dodge.
So 8 plus, so 20. 8 plus 14.
Okay, so you,
No, wait, 22.
yeah, so you dodge it. It rolled
Okay.
a 20, you dodge with 22. So you sidestep it.
Okay.
And now Konrad is going to try and get back in the game. He's back at 10 health now this turn. He's going to gain another 5 at the end. And he's going to try to help you out here. He rolls a 1 though. So he is not helping you out. It's actually kind of embarrassing.
His hands are wet.
So he runs over and he's like, but he remembers the pain of being slammed against the wall, and it kind of stops him from actually doing anything. So he's in pain. Ooh, this may hurt actually. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna kind of overhear from the top Triss Marigold saying, "Oh, come on, just these poor witchers. Where's the fun in this? We're here to entertain ourselves, right?" And Triss throws a fireball at it,
Oh.
which is gonna crit it twice. 3? What the? Okay, 32 is what she rolled. Creature is of course gonna try to dodge it because it's a massive fireball. But it is not going to. So no, Triss is going to crit it as well. So she's going to deal like an extra 10 damage with this fireball. 12, 18, 21. Okay. Okay, so. She's going to deal another 60 points of damage to this thing. It is not dead, by the way. Close. It's clearly dazed, like, and everybody's like, "Yay!" And now it is.
Almost turn.
Yeah, it's gonna be the creature's turn.
Oh.
So the creature then tries to hit Konrad. Come on, Konrad. Okay, Konrad dodges it. Creature rolled 19. Konrad rolled 9, 13, 23. So Konrad dodges masterfully and then tries to swing back for a killing blow. 4 plus 16. That's 20. What is the creature going to do here? You son of a bitch. Oh wait, this one. 21. Oh, and it's also weakened, I forgot. So Konrad will hit.
Okay.
Because it is taking a penalty, I forgot it. It's past its wound threshold. So it's taking some penalties, right, to certain stats. So because of Triss's fireball, something like that, Konrad is then able to kind of sidestep its attack, swoop back in, and hit it, and it is going to kill it.
All right.
3, 10, 13, 16, doubled, minus, and he is doing a strong attack, so it was double, but he also has the armor resistance, so Konrad deals about 12 damage to it when all is said and done. But it is enough to finally kill the creature. And everybody's like, yay! And Konrad's like he's like all bruised. He's just like he got smacked up and he hit the balcony barrier and everybody's like, yeah. And,
Well, because they can cure wounds like that, so they're like, whatever.
and Luis Van Adelaide is like, everyone, let's go back down to the lobby for some refreshments. And everybody's like, yay! And they're all cheering. And so there you hear her sound, wonderful show, Witchers, wonderful show.
Like, would you like some water, Konrad?
So these, you're gonna see these two in particular, plus the one with Triss and Sky is here. So what he's gonna do first is he's gonna say, Conrad's like limping over, and he's gonna say, "Can you do me a favor? Can you grab the?" He's like taking long pauses. He's like, "Can you cut the mutagen out of this thing? I need." It's like I would like to get the mutagen for later. So the mutagen from an ice elemental in particular gives +3 vigor innately. So when you equip it, so he's like, I really need that. So it allows you to cast more powerful spells. But you have the higher number, so he's like, I think you're gonna be able to do it. So if you make a D10 alchemy check. Okay, so 20. Yeah, that's
20. Yeah.
You roll exactly what you need. So you cut out the mutagen from it, and then you help. You'll help later with Konrad actually incorporating it so that he gets a +3 in vigor.
Okay.
And he's like, you can keep the trophy. I don't care. He's like, limping. He's like, he limps back into the party.
I get a jar and I like fill it up.
Like you don't have a scratch at all. Konrad's like,
I'm just a little tired, like just slightly, because I used a little stamina. But.
yeah, it's like you're fine. Meanwhile, Konrad's armor is taking some more damage. And they're like, wonderful show, like Stregbor's like, wonderful show, Witchers. That was masterful. It's like I love a good duel with a creature.
Oh, this is him, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's the other gentleman we can talk to. And she's like, "Wow, you have another trophy already. That's." And she's like, Trina's like, "Oh my goodness, Konrad, what are you doing?" and she's and Lisa's like, "Don't worry, just head back up to the chambers, Konrad. I'll heal you in a bit." He is, by the way, healing like 5 per round.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, if you'd like, you can retire to the chambers, and I'll come up later and I'll help you out. And Katrina does not like that comment, by the way.
She looks at her as she tells him that.
She's like, yeah, just like with the last wounds you had, I'll go and I'll help heal you with the healing touch as well. The healing hands. And Katrina's like, wonderful, wonderful. Now this gentleman, because Konrad says, that won't be necessary yet, I'll heal soon. His wounds are mending as we speak. Another gentleman walks over, however. Okay, so this is an interesting mage. He walks over and he's got, you can hear it under the robes. He has a magic prosthetic leg. And he introduces himself as Baron Anselberg. And he says, that was masterful. The way that you dealt with that creature is fantastic. You're not only resilient, but you're skilled fighter. And Konrad's just like gripping his ribs, like, oh yeah. And actually, by the way, I forgot. I forgot to check something here. Konrad does also have a broken arm.
Jesus.
Or not a broken arm, sorry, a broken leg.
Oh, okay.
So he's got a fracture. It's like he's limping so slow. I realize I forgot to mention because he took so much damage and the creature just smacked him in the elbow for 30 points of damage after his armor negated some of it. So it's lucky he had that armor on, because all he has is 35 health. And he's like, that was masterful. That was masterful. I do have a proposition if you are interested. There have been some mysterious going-ons in the forested Kedwin region of the Alderwood. Reports of disappearing young children and teens that have disappeared from their homes into the forest. And I was wondering if you might be willing to go investigate that for me. If so, I will happily arrange for your wounds to be tended and for transportation there for free, as well as lodging for the first day. And you can even travel back with me in my carriage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll accept it.
Okay. And Luis Van Adelaide says, oh, that's wonderful news. Thank you so much for, just thanking both you and Konrad, but mostly Konrad. She is eyeing him and saying, this is fantastic news. Thank you so much for making the party such a splash with everyone. Everyone was really entertained by the fight, especially the barrier part with the showmanship. She's like, I knew you could both handle it.
Otto just goes, interesting choice of words.
And she's like, yes, well. She turns over to Katrina Stein and Lana Branson of Sintra and does let her know, if you two would like to settle in for the quarters for the night, we will happily start with the tutelage of Lana in the morning, and she can make herself at home for the lodge for the time being.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be the end of the party. I'm going to give us 4 improvement points, because it was 1 straight now.
Okay.
But yeah, we did survive. Konrad did almost die.
So just right here.
Yeah, so just write 4 and you have 4 to spend at that point.
Okay.
And Konrad did get a mutagen out of it, as well as a fractured...
I forget, what does the werewolf mutagen do?
When you deal damage, when you deal melee damage, you add 3 to it.
Oh, okay.
So when all said and done, if you hit and when you roll the damage, you add 3.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good because I get 2 attacks basically, so it's like doubling that. Okay.
And so as last moment, Luis Van Adelaide does say, drinks for everyone. Let's celebrate the heroes. Let's celebrate the witchers.
Whiskey and water, Konrad?
And all the sorcerers are like, yeah. And one of you see Triss over here kind of coming over to you, and she's like, I did tell you, we are not all the same.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on this one.
I'll tell her I appreciate the help, but
Now there is one other thing, if you want to make an alertness check real quick.
Okay. 4, 8, 15. 15.
Okay. So Triss does, as she was whispering to you, she then walks over to discuss things with Luis Van Adelaide, and she does say, we could privately talk about what we talked about on the Magiscope, and about potentially creating the haven up here as well. And she says, of course, excuse me guests, I do have some business to attend to, some pressing matters, but feel free to enjoy yourselves for the rest of the evening. And she steps away with Tristan Mergold.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Katrina is over here, just kind of placing her hand on Konrad's shoulder, and she's like, Konrad, what did you get into? And Katrina, the priest, does come over here and says, Lana, I'll show you to your quarters. And she looks over to Katrina Stein and just says, I would love to catch up with you after Lana checks in, just for the sake of the funding for the tutelage and expenses, just when you get a chance. She's very happy to meet a fellow noblewoman of Kovir.
Okay.
And so that will be it, unless you want to talk to anybody else. They do disappear as well.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to Clarice and see if there's, I don't know, some way to turn the elemental, some part of the elemental into a trophy, like crystallize part of it so that, I mean it is ice, but so it's like a necklace or something.
She
that
says
it doesn't melt, I don't know.
Yeah, she says she can see about helping you fashion a trophy. You do only benefit from one trophy though at a time. So regardless, it'll give you +1 to reputation, but you also found a few other parts in it as well. Which Konrad is more than willing to let you keep on this one as well, because he's feeling a little under the weather, but also just grateful that the mutagen was extracted.
When it was the mouse a little.
Alright, so you also found an elemental stone. 9 more essences of water. A Zoria runestone, which I believe you already had, so now you're going to have another one. You can put it on the other weapon if you want. I believe it's the ice one.
Oh, okay.
The one that, oh, you know what, that's true.
It wouldn't, well, I didn't attack it, I only did Igni.
Yeah, if you had your sword has a 30% poison chance and a 30% freeze chance, which lowers stats. It doesn't like freeze it, it makes it slower. But so you have another Zoria one, so you can also attach it to your steel sword if you want.
Oh, okay.
And you also found 1d6 plus 2. Since you were talking to her, you're like, you know what, let's go check. And so when you go out there with her, you look at the corpse and see if there's any other parts of the trophy. Again, you find the Zoria runestone, an elemental stone of ice, 9 more essences of water, and 3 gemstones, worth about 100 crowns. So you get 100 crowns from there as well.
Okay.
And I believe that is the end of our, this would have been our intermission between the next main campaign mission. But this was the party that we had heard about, and so we were invited to join as the +1s.
Okay. Is there like a smithing or a crafting?
Yeah, there's a
Crafting,
crafting
right.
ability.
Okay.
So if you want to buy some points in crafting, you can. It's under the craft skill. You have, like, crafting is actually under the craft skill automatically. But you can just take crafting, and so it's 1 point, be 2 points to get to 2, and then you could do all 4 points that you just earned, for instance, to get you to crafting level 3.
Okay.
If you want. And then you add your craft ability as well. So your CRA.
Oh.
So,
that's already right here.
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna like melt a...
oh, I think you already have some crafting, don't you?
Yeah, I have 1.
Oh, so then you would go to 3, but you still have 1 point that you could spend anywhere else, or you could just save it if you want.
Oh yeah, I'll save it right now, but just right now I want to try
Okay.
and craft something. Well, I mean, it'll take a day or whatever, but I'm gonna like melt a gold coin and, I don't know, maybe make a necklace with one of the jewels.
Okay.
And then I'll give it to Clarice as thanks for helping me with the mutagens and everything.
Okay, and you said you were going to ask her to help, or are you going to try to do it as a surprise?
Yeah, I'll just try and do it on my own.
Okay, so go and roll.
6. And then is it plus the 1 crafting and +8, so +9?
Yes.
So 17.
Okay, so you roll pretty high, and you, because they have the alchemy lab and everything in there, they have the steps, you do it in secret, but you do give her the trinket as well.
So it's
and
15 actually.
Yeah, if you, yeah, it's still high enough.
Okay.
Let me borrow this real quick, because there is... So yeah, and if you're ever looking for gifts, like affectations, things like that, that your character is in particular interested in, insignias, patches, that sort of thing for armor, crests, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Konrad, for instance, shows affectations with trinkets as well.
Okay.
So Konrad's like, man, that's pretty nice of you. Konrad's like, how romantic. As he's limping. As he's limping, because no one's actually healed him yet. If
Trying to
they've
get up
got
the
a-
stairs. How
yeah.
nice. God damn.
Like Katrina's helping him. He's on his shoulder. All right, and I think that's a good placeholder for this adventure. The next one we'll pick up having traveled with the gentleman a few days to the Kedwin region of the Alderwood outskirts,
Okay.
and we'll pick up from there.